when the cord drilling machine hit me, it hit me directly lower spine with a handle. That was the end of my career at that point. It took me about 4 years to learn how to walk like a different way. And what's worse, my wife started to die after that. Her intestines were dying, and I just kind of lived with it. And it was terrible, I'm only 5 feet 5 inches tall, and I was up to 190 plus, and that's a lot for me. I used to eat so much processed food. Gives you a crazy willpower. Gives you crazy healing powers too. Man, things heal fast. It has literally saved her life. She is deficient in no vitamins whatsoever right now at all. She was down to 68 pounds, and I thought I was getting real scared. And she had almost passed away 4 times over the years. I just can't even express it enough. I'm so happy. I feel like she's going to be able to, kind of grow old with me now.
Hey folks, it's Dr. ShawnBaker here. Hey, if you or someone you love is suffering from chronic disease and you're tired of just managing symptoms with potions, pills, and procedures, I want you to check out Revero.com. Our team of dedicated professionals is committed to tackling the root cause of your issue and finally getting you healthy. Hurry up, though. Our spaces are filling up very quickly.
Yes, and I don't even, when the cord drilling machine hit me, it hit me directly lower spine with a handle, and it was a small solid bowl on a steel handle. And it felt like blood rushed down the bottom of my legs. It was the weirdest feeling, it all warm. I don't remember landing on the floor, and I couldn't move anything in my lower body at that point at all. So I didn't realize that as soon as I got control of myself and calmed down, I made myself try to wiggle my 2 big toes, and I can just barely move them, and it was a huge struggle. But I knew I wasn't paralyzed, and that's when I opened my eyes. And I didn't realize I was grinding my face into the concrete floor at the same time, and one of the construction guys was trying to put a glove under my head for comfort. I looked to my side, and here comes the ambulance crew on the stretcher, and that was it. They hauled me out of there. It's kind of a funny story. I had to beg them not to put me on my back. And I told them I promised I wouldn't let them get in trouble. And as they put me in this elevator, it was so small, they had to wedge me up, straight up at an angle. It was kind of hard to do, but they got me out of there. But that was the end of my career at that point. It took me about 4 years to learn how to walk like a different way. I have to do everything different so I don't put any shock on my body that can put me out of commission pretty quick. Just stepping off a curb too hard or anything like that. It's kind of sensitive and gives you pain in places you never thought you'd have pain before either.
So did you end up with some fractures in your spine or anything like
Well,
that?
I broke my coccyx, but it killed 2 discs right off the bat. And then they're just fused together.
So they did a fusion on you, a surgical fusion?
No, they didn't. They just let them fuse on their own. Back then, they didn't have the disc replacement therapy, because that was before that was around when I got hurt.
And, how many years? How old were you when that happened?
I was back in 2004, so that was 21 years ago. And I was in my late, almost 40 years old, right around there, 39, 40.
Okay, so you have this big accident. You lose the ability to walk more or less. You gain a bunch of weight.
Yep.
Can't work, I guess, or don't work, right? So health got worse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Depression, you just kind of feel worthless. And what's worse, my wife started to die after that. Her intestines were dying. And so I had to give her 24/7 care too. So that's where all the anxiety and things like that came from too. And that stuff was brutal to deal with, and I didn't take anything for it. I never went to the doctor for it, really. I mentioned it to him, but I knew what was going on, and I just kind of lived with it. And it was terrible, but I don't suffer with it anymore. Not even a little bit.
So, you said you largely try to maybe avoid the doctors, I guess, in some ways, but you'd had a number of health things going on.
Yeah,
what had
gaining so much weight, I wasn't healthy. I never got sick per se or anything like that, but I knew I was heading for bad things, because of my weight. I'm only 5 feet 5 inches tall, and I was up to 190 plus, and that's a lot for me. I should be really 150, and so I was easy 40 pounds overweight. And I don't know, it's kind of like, I guess you could say I was probably getting close to being pre-diabetic. So I didn't want that to happen. And so I didn't. I didn't think I was going to beat it because that sugar addiction, that's brutal. That's hard to deal with.
So obviously your activity level went down because you had an injury, you had a hard time walking.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't even
yeah.
move. Just getting from out of the bed into the bathroom was absolute brutal misery. It just took years to get over that. And yeah, now I can walk and stuff. I can do my chores and everything like that, take care of my wife, things like that. But it's kind of like all I can handle for the most part. Going beyond that much can really kind of mess me up a little. So I have to be careful.
What has changed to give you some level of improvement, cause you to lose weight and all that stuff? What
has changed with my health now?
Yeah.
Oh my God, everything. The very first thing that happened was, your appetite kind of shut off, and I wasn't so hungry. And then I had this crazy clarity in my head. My mind got real clear, like I've never had experience
What were you,
before.
Jeff? Let me pardon you. What did you end up doing that made the improvements for you?
Oh, just going straight carnivore. And
okay.
I tried the keto diet before, and it worked okay. I got into the fasting. I learned about that a little, but that would still kind of work, and I didn't really stick with it, and then the sugars come back in, and you just get into that freight train of the bad lifestyle again. Yeah.
So when did you decide you were going to do a carnivore diet then?
Last May, actually. About at the end of May, I started. And I just kind of started on a whim for some reason. I just started eating meat, and it tasted good to me. I felt like that's all I want to eat. Then I started coming across all you and the other doctors and everybody that does it, because I started doing research. And I don't know, it worked so fast. You notice results in like 2 to 4 days. It's crazy.
Where were you at like before May, like say in February of 2024, before you started? What was your state of health at that point?
Oh, it was pretty fat, pretty lazy. I was real hard on myself. I as in like I felt worthless, and things like that. But yeah, I know I didn't have much motivation. I just did what I did to take care of things, and that was about it. I don't know. It's hard to describe that, really. I try to forget about that era.
So were you in a lot of pain as well during that time?
Well, I live in pain. My pain has never stopped, but my pain has gone down a lot. Tell you, I used to have shoulder injuries from lifting and, some of my jobs I had, and I thought I was going to have to live with them forever. But that pain went away. I've had bursitis in one of my elbows. It's never bothered me since I've started carnivore too. Even I fractured my left elbow when I was younger in a motorcycle accident, and that does not give me any pain anymore either. I used to start to ache when the cold weather came in, and now nothing at all. But with the lower pain issues, it's kind of feels funny describing it, but your privates can hurt all the time when you get an injury like that, and your hips can feel like they have arthritis in them. And a lot of that's tamed a little because my weight's off me now, takes some of the pressure off my lower spine. I still experience it, but it's easier to deal with. And sometimes my knee signal can cut out, just for no reason. I don't know why it does that, but I think it's due to my nerves of the spine too. Like you're going to fall, like someone kicked the back of your knee. It's easier to catch myself now instead of, trying to catch a wall and everything so I don't fall down. But those are some of the symptoms I was dealing with my spine injury. And it's gotten a lot easier to deal with that stuff now.
So you said back in May, you decided I'm just going to start eating meat. You ran into some people online, myself included, talking about it, decided to stick with it. And so what was the progression of your improvement in health? How did that play out?
Geez, things happen fast. I used to have like cuts in my fingers and my cracks in my heels and my feet. That stuff was gone in like a week and a half. My anxiety was gone in 4 days. And all of a sudden I woke up and it was like just not there anymore. And let's see, what else? My energy. I call it a meat high. So does my friend out in California. He kind of coined the term of it because he started about 6 months before I did, and I didn't know it. But yeah, it's a perfect term to describe it, even though I know it's more of a fat high. But man, it works good. I annoy my wife and my friends with it because it's like your energy just does not shut off, and I don't know. You sleep fantastic. You wake up with energy. Your head is always clear. I don't know. Geez, what else? trying to think right now when you're on the spot and you know all that information.
Yeah, let me ask you, Joe, what was your diet immediately before switching to carnivore?
Oh, geez, everything bad. I used to eat so much processed food. I'd put sugar in my coffee. I never ate healthy, but I'd still base my meals around meat. But I had tons of crap all day long with it, from cereal to granola bars to cookies to anything, ice cream sandwiches. Geez, that's a weakness, And I don't know. That's pretty much was my diet, and I tried to eat somewhat healthy in a way because I have to keep my wife healthy going. So I always cook nice meals, but I always had vegetables, and she can't digest vegetables at all whatsoever. So it was worth getting rid of them, and both of our lives have changed completely. It saved her life, literally.
So you had tried to eat healthy in the past. Why do you think you weren't able to continue a healthy eating pattern? Why did you keep turning back to the junk, you think?
Yes, exactly. It's too hard to maintain, and I used to grow an organic garden in my backyard, and I don't know, it's still just, you could tell it's not what we're supposed to eat. I ate the stuff, we gave away a lot of stuff, it seems like you got to cook a lot, and it's just kind of turned into be a pain in the butt. My gardens are empty now. I do not have to grow a garden anymore. It's kind of handy.
And so by going carnivore, you found it a lot easier to quit the junk food. Is that
absolutely? Absolutely. Makes it super easy to fight it. Like I've never felt before. It gives you a crazy willpower. It gives you crazy healing powers too. Man, things heal fast.
When you said you got the meat high or the fat high, what are you eating? What exactly types of food were you eating?
Actually, we eat pretty much 95% beef right now, and you'll eat beef for like maybe 1 or 2 weeks straight, and then maybe have a day of bacon and eggs, and it feels like we haven't had beef for 6 months, just eating that one day of bacon and eggs, and we go right back to the beef again, and we love it. I pick up my food at Costco. I usually get my hamburger. I get that at a local grocery store that has a butcher too. But I like to get the loin flap steaks at Costco. And they're pretty good. We call them steak bits, and my wife's addicted to them. That and beef short ribs and chuck roast. That's kind of the main staple of what we eat most of the time.
So you said, you noticed your skin improving, the cracks in your skin healing up. You lost some weight, your anxiety went away, pain down significantly, more energy, more ability to function. I mean, across the board, pretty good stuff, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
You mentioned you said your wife had dying intestines or something along those lines.
Yes, her intestines were dying, and she had to have her complete large intestine and most of her colon removed. She has about 6 inches. And what her problem was, she couldn't gain weight. And she was literally starving to death, and she was in malnutrition. And no matter what we did, we could not get vitamins or weight on her or anything into her, no matter what procedure they tried, intravenously, vitamins to take at home, vegetables, fruit, you name it, nothing worked. And she needed the high protein, high fat. We knew that too, but we were trying to get it in other ways too, the old style way, even with beans and things and meat, but it all wasn't working. It just tortured her. And because the more she had to go to the bathroom, the worse it was. And
did they have a name for her? Anymore. Did they have a name for her intestinal condition?
No, it's an undiagnosed condition. Nobody can figure out what is wrong with her. Okay. They've been battling she's been battling it for over 18 years now.
And by going carnivore has helped her, it sounds like.
It has literally saved her life. She is deficient in no vitamins whatsoever right now at all. And she just started in about, I'd say, September, October of this, 2024. Yeah. And she's not as hardcore as I am. She still has her sweetened tea and things like that, but I'm not going to have her quit cold turkey because she was down to 68 pounds. And I thought I was getting real scared. And she had almost passed away 4 times over the years. So, being keen on taking good care of her was like key to me. And all her suffering has stopped. She used to have uncontrollable heartburn. She had a lot of the same conditions that people with like Crohn's disease, any type of intestinal or stomach disorder, but it wasn't any of those conditions because they ruled all that out over and over again.
And so she's been able to put some weight back on?
She's just starting to. I think she was down below 68 pounds before, and now she's up to about 68 pounds. But all of a sudden her complexion has cleared up. Her energy is coming back. You could see the whole difference in her. She's able to get up and walk around again a little bit now. It's still, she doesn't have the strength to go up and down stairs too easy, but I noticed huge improvements. She used to have to, unfortunately, go to the bathroom almost continuously all day, and it was just killing her. And that's completely stopped, maybe once or twice a day right now. And so that's just fantastic. We go to her doctor on the 5th, and I cannot wait till he sees her blood results to see how she's not deficient in anything anymore. And she's like a success story. It's probably going to take her years to recover. I kind of feel like her body is picking and choosing what to heal first, because she's got a lot of healing to do, and it's going to just take her a long time.
Yeah, and she definitely sounds like she started from a very low. Both you guys sounds like you both were quite sick, and,
Yeah.
hopefully this is turning both y'all around in a significant way. Sounds like. Have you experienced, either of you have experienced any negatives up to this point from switching to a carnivore diet?
The only negative I experienced, which is in the very, very beginning, when you kind of switch over to the fat burning mode and you detox at the same time, you can have a little diarrhea in the beginning for about a week or so. It didn't last too long with me. It was maybe 5 days, and it was kind of not much. And then all of a sudden, that was it. Both of us have had zero negative effects.
You had an issue with eating too much junk food and sweets, and it has improved your appetite. Your wife has the opposite situation where she can't keep enough food in her. Has it made both your appetites more normalized, I guess?
Yes, she eats about once or twice a day, and it's about fine. And usually if she went any length of time too long without food, she'd start experiencing pain and discomfort. Mm-hmm. And she's able to go longer and longer now in between, and she's still not losing weight. And that speaks volumes. I just can't even express it enough. I'm so happy. I feel like she's going to be able to, kind of grow old with me now. And that's cool.
Yeah, it's probably that she's now actually able to absorb more of her nutrition.
Totally. She's absorbing everything. She's taking less medications too. She's got 2 of the strongest antacids she takes to try to control her acid. One is famotidine, and the other one I can't remember the name of. It starts with a P, and that's a little difficult.
Prilosec or pantoprazole, maybe.
That might be the second one. I think it could be. And she's starting to stop taking one of those. She's cutting back on things. And same thing with anti-diarrhea medicine, to try to keep her things more firm. She's not having to do that so much either, cutting back on it. So I can see everything's turning around. Her gut biome is getting better. The heartburn is less. And if she eats anything processed or veggie-wise, you can see the bloating happen instantly. Her stomach will grow it's almost like a balloon. You're just filling it with air and just puffs right out, and her suffering is intense at that point because it's hard for her to get rid of it.
So vegetables are not her friend.
No.
Now, you said you got up to 190 at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you at these days? Do you know?
Right now, I'm probably about 162 because over the Halloween and to Thanksgiving, I got into the candy and put a few pounds back. Now I'm back into my normal routine. I thought I had the sugar thing beat, and I had to just eat 2 little candy bars, and that's all it took. I got to just keep it out of the house. But I lost,
for some people,
basically, I lost 30 pounds. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, for some people, even just a little bit of candy or sugar leads to, discontinued sort of binging on that stuff. So you have to have abstinence for some folks.
Absolutely. Easiest way. You helped me out a lot. You put out a short video just recently where you told how long the sugar cravings usually last, that 30 to 40 minutes. That was great information for me because that's something I never really knew. But it sucks that they're that long. I wish they were more like 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, you just got to figure out what to do for that half hour, 45 minutes, and then a lot of times you're good. So obviously your health has gotten significantly better. You're obviously happy about it.
My God, crazy happy, crazy healthy. I don't even know how to describe it. I've never felt health like this before.
When obviously you spent your life since you're 40-ish, when you got injured, sick, your wife's been sick for many years. Were you guys ever told red meat is bad, avoid red meat, we shouldn't be eating that? Was that ever been part of that?
I have heard that, but I never really quite believed it. That never just fit in with me. I just thought vegetables were healthy too, along with that stuff. That's the thing that fooled me. I never really realized we couldn't really digest them and process them and access the nutrients in them. Now that you know everything, it just, I don't know, wakes you up. It's like all that common sense comes pouring in.
Hey folks, it's Dr. ShawnBaker here. Hey, if you or someone you love is suffering from chronic disease and you're tired of just managing symptoms with potions, pills, and procedures, I want you to check out Revero.com. Our team of dedicated professionals is committed to tackling the root cause of your issue and finally getting you healthy. Hurry up, though. Our spaces are filling up very quickly. Yeah, I mean, certainly, we can't break down the cellulose, and it gets, we absorb some of the fat from the fermentation from the bacteria in our gut, and we can get some of the nutrition, but a lot of it's wasted. Probably a high percentage of it gets wasted, so it's not a very efficient source of nutrition. And for a lot of people like your wife, incredible gut pain, bloating, distension. So certainly in those situations, they can be problematic. There's no doubt about that. I guess you guys have not been to the doctor since she started September. You started last, I guess you said May. Any concerns around cholesterol, heart disease, diabetes? I mean, this is what we hear about red meat. Any concerns about that when you're
I have no concerns whatsoever at all. And my cholesterol was high. And my doctor, she mentioned prescribing statins to me. And I just straight up told her, I said, I won't take them. I just figured I'm either going to get healthy or stay fat a little longer and it'll finally kick in and I'll get healthy. But yeah, I just would straight up refuse taking them unless it was some kind of super dire situation where they might help.
How much would you say you eat a day at 5'5", 160-ish? What's your daily consumption?
Right now, it's not a lot because I'm not super active, so I don't feel like I need to eat a ton. But I'd say I eat twice a day, and if I make a burger, that's usually half to 2/3 of a pound maybe, and then I'll have a piece of meat later in the day again. So I'd say maybe a pound of meat, sometimes less, sometimes more. I'd say on average. I think if I was working out again, I'd probably be eating more.
Have you noticed that you've gotten stronger since you started doing this?
Yeah. And I'm not even lifting. It just feels like some of your weight came back, and I don't know. A lot of good things happen. It makes you feel younger. It's like I'm de-aging.
Are you, obviously you spent many years taking care of your wife, limited mobility, limited capacity. Now that you're getting some of that back, is it making you want to do more things?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. I mean, I ride a Harley, so I love riding that. And the lighter I am, I feel like the quicker the bike is, but no. I don't have to be a fat guy on a Harley. I'm a fit guy on a Harley. That makes me feel a whole lot better. But yeah, I'm definitely more active, and my wife is going to be more active, and we love going out and doing things. So hopefully I can get her out this summer for the first time in a long time.
That would be nice. That would be nice to see. Yeah, for sure. Have you dealt with anybody that's been critical? I mean, I don't know how many people you interact with on a daily basis to people see you eating meat.
All the time. It's usually some of my family for sure. They just can't believe that it works. But they're seeing it work at the same time, and they just have trouble, still believing it because their doctor tells them something different, and they're more believe in the medication fixing you and the vegetables fixing you, you're fine like that, and but it's not working. And I try to tell them, you're going to eat a lot less, you're going to feel better. I'd love to see them do it, but I don't work too hard on trying to convince them because I think I'd irritate them. I just have to show them the results. Yeah,
for sure. That's probably the best convincement is show them the results. I mean, it's hard to argue with that for sure. Have you noticed any, like some people notice like sort of weird things that they didn't even think, like some people like their toenails, their nails grow faster.
Oh my God. Yeah. That is a pain in the ass part. Your nails grow faster. I forgot about it. I hate having to cut my nails. I like them nice and short, and I got to cut them all the time. It's like, holy jeez.
Yeah. There's some itching, like stop itching, less hiccups. I don't know if there any kind of weird things you might have noticed.
And I don't have to clear my chest anymore. Usually you got to go and clear your chest all the time. That went away. No hiccups, no gas ever. Feels like I barely have to go to the bathroom. If I do, it's like, that's a pain in the butt, and And it's like you're done, and you're like, that's it, that's all. I'm like, geez, I could have had that in there for weeks and not even known it. But yeah, I don't know. There's just too many positives. I don't really feel any negatives at all. It's wonderful.
So one of the things a lot of people will say is, well, don't you get bored with just eating meat all the time? What is your thought on that?
That is not true, because sometimes, you go to cook and you might feel, okay, you're having the same thing, but the moment you get that meat out and that pan turns on, you get really excited. I'll even start singing, and get the butter in the pan. I'm just in a great mood every time, and I never get tired of the flavor. It just doesn't ever.
What about for those that would say, well, that's nice and all, but it's only for rich people. This is too expensive a diet. What are your thoughts on that?
See, that's good, because we became poor because I lost my retirement and everything, and so did my wife, and we're just on Social Security, fixed income, and you know how expensive things got. It's actually grocery shopping is so easy now, because all you got to do is pick up some meat and some butter and some eggs, milk, and bacon. That's pretty much it. Well, paper towels too. I got to clean a lot more. But I guess that's another negative. I got to clean a little more. But yeah, that's about it. And if I'd say on average, we probably spend $140 to $160 between us for 2 weeks sometimes or more in groceries with meat and stuff. And that's not too bad. And that's burger, short ribs, beef short ribs too. And the loin flap steaks are called. And I usually get those, and sometimes chuck roast. And yeah, it works out well.
How do you cook your short ribs? Just out of curiosity.
No, I brown them in butter. I do put a little pepper on them because the wife likes it that way. And then I add beef broth and cover them in foil in the iron pan and shove them in the oven for like 4 hours and slow roast them. And they just melt apart. It's meat candy.
Yeah, I mean, the short ribs they're nice and they're very fatty, so they can be quite good, quite pretty. But you slow cook them for sure, and they're really.
Same thing with my chuck roast. I do that for about 4 hours also and turn it into meat candy.
Yeah. So you're able to do it on a fixed income, Social Security, losing weight, probably less money, maybe less money than you spent before, perhaps on food. I don't know.
It is because And one thing, in my weight wise, I lost 30 pounds in 3 months. And I went from 190 to actually 159 and a half at one point. And so I told my wife I'd try to give her a 6-pack this summer. I think I can at least go close.
There you go. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, right.
So how's your sleep been? Has it affected your sleep? I think you mentioned it made it better, perhaps.
Oh my God, so much better. And here's the big thing. I suffer from narcolepsy, and I forgot to mention that in my bio. And, that was brutal, because once that hits you, and I have to sleep. It's the only way you can shake it off. And it forces you to wake up in the middle of the night. I'm sure you know all this stuff. And that's gone. I don't experience any of it anymore. Nothing. And I fall asleep super easy, which isn't a problem anyways for me. But I sleep super sound. And when you wake up, you don't have that groggy feeling like you need 3 or 4 cups of coffee to get going in the morning. You're just ready to go.
Yeah, well, certainly good sleep is going to compound things, make things better for sure. Now, you obviously said you're near Syracuse, and so it's cold and snowy up there. I mean, are you able to get outside much, or what's your deal
usually
with that?
When I just go and run in chores, because it just sucks. Right this week we're mostly single digits and teens, so you don't really want to go outside. And you kind of get used to it. I can go out in the snow in my bare feet for quite a while, actually. I'm kind of resistant to the cold that way. I could almost snow blow my driveway in bare feet if I had to.
Goodness. So did you guys, any kids or any other family members?
I have a son, and he's in his 30s.
Okay. Has he seen you recently, or?
Is he what?
Has he seen you recently and seen your weight loss?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everybody sees the difference. They're shocked. My mom's like, oh, you don't have to keep losing weight. I'm like, no, I'm going to keep losing weight,
So you feel better with that. Now, you mentioned that back in the day you were got to exercise a lot. Is that something you're contemplating now? Do you think that's possible to get back into that stuff?
Absolutely. I'm going to lift weights again, because that's the easiest thing for me to do, about the only thing I can do, too. Because you can do it when you can, if you can, and how you can, and it's nice. And I get gains back really fast. Back in the day when I was working out, I was able to bench 300 pounds. I had 16 and a half inch arms. I'm just a little, 150 plus pound, 5'5" guy. I got on the preacher bench. I was able to, my finishing set was 125 pounds I could work out with on the preacher curl. And I had some pretty good strength, but it comes back quick. Like, so if I work out for like 1 to 3 months, my tricep push downs are already back at, 180 pounds right there without even trying. It's like no effort. So it comes back pretty quick, but I can't move fast like I used to. So I do a little more slow working out, which engages all those stabilizer muscles real nice, and it kind of works well for me.
Very good. Yeah, that'll be a good thing to get back to doing. It'll make you feel better. It helps you mentally too. That's what I find is exercise is, not only benefits you physically, but it benefits you mentally as well.
And I don't want my arms flapping in the wind when I ride my motorcycle either.
There you go. There you go. Get some nice solid guns on you. So you said you mostly beef, a little bit of bacon and eggs from time to time. You mentioned butter. Do you any other dairy products? Do you do any other dairy products?
I'll drink milk sometimes. Usually I'm just passing by and I'm just thirsty. I'll drink some out of the carton, but I don't drink it like I used to. Butter, we just cook with it, or I'll melt some on top of the steak or burger when I make it, so it's just a little extra juicy and delicious. But that's about as far as we go with it. I haven't eaten it or anything, or tried to eat a half a stick of butter or anything like that. I don't know if I feel like I need to. But yeah, we love butter. We go through it pretty well in this house because I use it in my coffee too. That's one way I stay away from the sugar. So, and I'm probably going to keep drinking coffee, unfortunately. So I just call it butter coffee. I'll still add half and half or cream to it too to make it extra delicious. But it's just smooth and works real well. And I drink a lot less coffee that way too.
Yeah, I see about half the people that end up ultimately giving up coffee say it benefits, and the other half say it doesn't really make a difference. So it's hard to say if it's worth giving up or not for most people. I
have done both. I have given it up, and I haven't really noticed too much, so I think, yeah.
Yeah, so probably fine to keep for you. With your wife's intestinal problems that have been going on for, close to 2 decades, you said 18 years, I think, or something like that. But did they ever tell her to avoid red meat and stuff like that? Was that ever something they had told her to do?
No, they never told her to avoid that at all or anything. After a while, they told her to stop eating vegetables because she just couldn't digest them.
I see.
Lettuce.
Did they ever tell her to start eating them in the beginning?
Well, she thought so. In the beginning, they just wanted any type of calories in her, just to try to get calories in her, because they thought that was going to work. And so we were just giving her anything. And it just kept not working, just made her go to the bathroom more. So the more she goes to the bathroom, the more she's going to lose weight. It's just
so it was just running right through her,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Anything else you can think of? I mean, mental health, obviously, you said it helped you quite a bit.
Yes.
How about with your mood, your anxieties, but what about your ability to concentrate and your cognition?
So much better. And I did a little video a while back on my channel on YouTube, and when I first started it, and explaining the mental clarity you get. It's hard to describe at first, but it's something you never felt before. I wish I had this clarity when I was younger. It would have helped me out a lot.
So you mentioned you have a YouTube channel. How has that gone? Is this something you started because of a carnivore thing, or is it something you'd done previous to that?
No, I just started about a couple years back, just a motorcycle channel, and then I added the carnivore thing to it because I started it. But I haven't been able to add a video to it at all almost for a year because I had to devote all my time to my wife, and because she was going downhill pretty bad, and I was getting really scared about it. And now she's on a turnaround, so it's huge. The next summer I was getting scared, and this summer now I feel very positive.
It's got to be a good relief. And your wife, because you said you're almost 60, your wife similar age, or how old is she?
She's 6 years older than I am, actually.
She's older yet. Okay,
yes.
So she's in her mid-60s, I guess. So, and her health has improved.
Oh, amazingly.
How about her mental? Have you noticed improvement in her mood or mental health?
Yes, totally. She fought depression hard, and she is still on depression medication, but if she misses it, it doesn't affect her. So we can see that the benefits from the carnivore diet is helping her mentally too. She wakes up with a clear head. She's not as groggy anymore. She's experiencing all the positives. She's experiencing all the epiphanies you have too about eating all the crap you did in the past and how bad it affects you. And and that's kind of good seeing those happen to her.
Have you guys either of you come off any medication since you started doing this?
She's not entirely off them yet, but she has reduced, one antacid that starts with a P, I can't pronounce it again. She doesn't take that sometimes often, and that's nice. But she does take the famotidine, and sometimes she'll forget that even. And I'll have her take a sip of milk, and it seems to be enough to tame it without using medication now. And that's big. She's got a hiatal hernia too, so I'm wondering if once her acid gets completely normalized with this diet and she's not on those antacids anymore, I'm assuming that might cause a signal for the valve to your stomach at the top to shut. And I think hers is just kind of forced open a little bit too because of what's going on. I don't know if I'm totally right or not. Does that make sense at all to you at all, maybe?
Yeah, potentially. I think I can see where that could happen. So obviously you've been doing this now. You've been doing it now, not quite a year. Your wife's been doing it for 4 or 5 months or so. Yeah. Do you see you guys continuing this for a longer period of time? Are you going to add stuff back in? What are your thoughts?
The rest of my life, I'm going to do it straight up. I don't think I'm ever going to stop. It's too easy.
Well, it is very easy, that's for sure. Yeah. On your channel, now that you started talking about carnivore, when previously you were talking about kind of more motorcycle related stuff, have you gotten any people like, what's been a reception of that? If you talk
well,
about
I have gotten people to start it because I post a lot of your stuff and a lot of the stuff I learn and find out on my Facebook page and things like that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of friends I've found out have decided to go carnivore because of what I've posted, and that is excellent. A friend of ours, his sister, was a hardcore vegan, and she was suffering from a lot of health problems now. She was losing hair, intestinal problems, all sorts of things. And so she tried it because of me, and she's cured all her woes. Her hair stopped falling out, her skin's gotten better, her digestion's back to normal, and she's happy. I told her, I said, when you drive by a field and you see a cow and you go, yum, tell me, because when that day kicks in.
Let me see. Is there anything else that you would like to share that we have not touched on?
Geez, let me think for a second. That's a good question. Put me on the spot with that one. I'm trying to think if I can come up with anything. The hardest part is, teaching people because they just don't want to believe it. And you just tell them the history a little bit and they start to believe it. You say, we were scavengers before we were a predator. Our acid is designed to dissolve meat. Is stronger than a lion's acid, and I don't know. They have a hard time grasping that. I go, we have got an excellent throwing arm because we're a predator. We wouldn't need that excellent arm if we were just plucking fruit off a tree, and our brains never would have evolved either.
So you don't think we were throwing rocks at bananas and trying to knock them out of the tree?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm saying that jokingly. Obviously, there's a lot. No,
I think it's funny too. That's for glad. I like you got a good sense of humor.
Hunting and meat eating, yeah, for sure. Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff's been interesting, and it's like I said, I've done hundreds and hundreds of interviews on this, and it never ceases to amaze me how much it can turn people's lives around, both you and your wife. And so it's good to see, and keep up the good work, and hopefully your wife, continues to recover, put on weight, get stronger. You too. I'd love to see how you guys are a year from now. That would be really fun to see where you've come. But anyway, I appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks for doing it.
No problem. Absolutely love to, and I'd love to do it again. And I promise I'll have a little better equipment too. I'm a little embarrassed, but
that's okay. All right. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It was awesome having a conversation with you. Take it easy.